Hello guys, welcome to Storytime, and today I have a very beautiful book called Teacup by Rebecca Young and Matt Ottley. As you can see, there is a boy who is very beautiful and he has a teacup and a boat, and I think he's going somewhere. He's going somewhere. We're going to go on a journey for today's story time. So let's see what this book's all about. Once there was a boy who had to leave home and find another. Okay, guys, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to go on a journey? Because adventure is out there. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. The writing's a bit wide. I hope you can see the letters. For Auntie Pat, thank you. R.Y. For Tina, my girl with the broken egg cup. M.O. Okay, guys, let's do this. Teacup by Rebecca Young and Matt Ottley. Once there was a boy who had to leave home and find another. In his bag, he carried a book, a bottle, and a blanket. In his teacup, he held some earth from where he used to play. Now guys, this beautiful little boy is going on a journey. Now he's carrying himself a book, a backpack, a bottle and a blanket, and then there's a teacup. There's a teacup with some earth in it from where he used to play. Some days the sea was gently rocking him to sleep. Guys, he's on a boat, and as you can see, the dolphins. The sea is very calm and very gentle, and he is just really calm and relaxed, as you can see. Some days the sea was bold, and the boy held tightly to his teacup. Now, guys, some days there was dark clouds and the waves just rumbled and rumbled, as you can see, and the sea was bold, and he just held tightly to his teacup, to the earth, to his home, that he wanted to take it to the next place, to the new place, and he just holding it so tight. Some days shone bright on an endless sea of white. Now guys, there's a vast ocean with sky. There's a vast ocean with sky, and some days are just bright and calm and gentle. It is just an endless sea of white. Other days were so dark that the boy longed for the stars. Now, as you can see, guys, the illustrations are so beautiful. It's so beautiful. As you can see, some days the dark clouds just swarmed over, and he just longed to see some glittering stars. As you can see, he and his teacup. Every day he watched the horizon for a speck that he could follow until it grew into something glorious. But there was no sign of land. Now guys, He's on a journey, and every time there's a new day. Every day is a new day. Some days are bright, some days are dark, but always he's looking over the horizon so that he could follow and see the signs of land. As the boy stared at the sky, an albatross cut across the blue. The way it dipped and dived reminded him of flying kites back home. The taste of salt on his lips reminded him of the sea bridge whistling through his favorite tree. Now, guys, he is just finding hope in his day, and as you can see, as he notices an albatross just flying at the blue sky, and it's reminding him of his home, of his kite, of his beautiful tree, of his favorite tree. It's reminding him of his home. The way the whales called out to each other reminded him of how his mother used to call him for tea. Now, guys, he's all alone on a boat. He's really missing his mom, his home, his place, and then again he's finding peace. As you can see, when he hears the whales calling out each other, and that's just beautiful. As you can see, this is just so beautiful. It reminds him of home. And the way the clouds slowly swam into view reminded him of how things can change with a whisper. Now, guys, as you can see, one moment it's deep blue and beautiful. The next moment there's dark clouds all over. It can just change in a whisper of seconds, guys. As you can see how things can change with a whisper of seconds. The boy awoke to something new. Over trembling seas it grew and grew and grew. Now, guys, he had a teacup. He was holding really tightly to his teacup. It was his home, his earth. He carried earth with him. And then in his journey, he notices something. Can you see, guys? There's someone growing from it, as you can see. And over trembling seas, it grew and grew and grew and grew. As you can see, it looks like it's growing to be a beautiful tree. The tree gave him shelter and shade, apples to eat, branches to climb, and cozy nooks that he knew were just perfect for daydreaming. From high, he continued his search for a speck on the horizon. Now, guys, little Daddy knew his teacup carried the entire earth, and that's the tree. That's the tree growing and giving him food, giving him shelter, giving him hope. And that's the beginning of new beginnings, that you can say. Now he is just skimming through the horizon to find some new life as he continued his search for a speck on the horizon. Look at that. It's so beautiful. His tree is growing and it's growing out of his teacup. Can you imagine? When he first saw it, it was so very small that he wasn't certain he'd seen anything at all. But before long, there was a bump. Now guys, as you can see, his tree is growing and growing and growing. And before he knew it, he felt a bump. And I think he's somewhere. He is somewhere. And there he goes, walking after the endless journey. There he goes, walking with his tree and his boat. Look at that. The boy was happy with what he saw. There he began to build. There he began to build, and he waited for a whisper. At last, he reached somewhere where he could carry his earth, he could carry his home, he could carry his tree and a teacup, and the place looks beautiful and green. And then he waited for a whisper of someone, maybe just like him. There you go, guys. The day the girl with the broken egg cup arrived. Now, guys, there's someone with a broken egg cup. And look at that. Well, someone found him just like he did. Well, she was also on a journey. Well, until the day the girl with the broken egg cup arrived. Look at that. And they live happily ever after. That's his teacup. Well, that's his egg cup, and I think those are their footprints. And it looks like a small footprint. It might be of their baby. It might be. Look at that. And they live happily ever after. They found a new home. They found, well, their trees found each other. They found a new home. And then they live happily ever after. What a beautiful story, guys. Teacup by Rebecca Young and Matt Ottley. Once there was a boy who had to leave home and find another. What a beautiful journey he had. What a beautiful illustrations. And one of the most beautiful moment of all times for me was, please let me know what was your beautiful moment. And for me, the beautiful moment was this particular line. And the way the clouds slowly swam into view reminded him of how things can change with a whisper. How things can change with a whisper.